CBS News Chief White House Correspondent Major Garrett joins us now from the White House. Major, the president said that he didn't veto it because it would be good for defense spending. Is that how we should understand the change of heart from this morning?
It was never a serious veto threat. Let's make that fundamentally clear. It was a toying maneuver for the president to generate a bit more curiosity about what he might do, but it was never a serious threat to veto it. Senior administration officials communicated that to me all morning long, that this was a way for the president to explain to his conservative base what he likes about the bill and suggest to them he was really powerless to stop the things he doesn't like in the bill. That, of course, forces an audience to assume that the president's powerless when it comes to federal spending. Of course, the president is not. And this administration walked hand in hand with the Republican-led Congress to negotiate this piece of legislation. It's not as if this is an out-of-body experience for President Trump and suddenly this bill arrived on his desk from nowhere. It came from the Republican-led Congress and negotiated every step of the way by senior administration officials, one of whom, the director of the Office of Management and Budget, was in the briefing room only yesterday saying the president would sign it, and it reflected most of his most important priorities. Did it have to come with compromises with Democrats? Of course it did. That also is not a mystery. That's how the legislative process works. And of course, we're in this situation on the eve of another potential government shutdown because this White House and the Republican-led Congress have had so many other stopgap spending bills not doing their own budgetary work when they were supposed to have done it September 30th of last year. Okay? So all of these things must be at least cataloged in the context of the president saying, I'm never going to sign one of these bills again. He actually may be right about that, because if the midterm elections land the Democrats in control of the House of Representatives, I guarantee you they'll be sending him a different kind of bill that would be far more reflective of their priorities and not the president's. But that's for another political time down the road. The fact is, this was an elaborate way for the president to generate some degree of curiosity, even though there really was no practical curiosity about what he would do, and drive home the point to his Trump Republican base that he fought for things, he got the things he likes, and along the way take a few shots at Democrats. But in the main, this piece of legislation is signed. The defense increases are now law, and the domestic non-defense increases sought by Democrats are now law. $66 billion more over the last year in defense, $52 billion more over last year in non-defense. So everyone got a little bit of what they wanted, except those who are concerned about the deficit implications and, of course, the debt implications. They got nothing but more federal spending.
And many folks got not just what they wanted, but things they didn't want. And as you point out, the president all along during this nearly half-hour description of the bill and why he landed where he did, blamed the Democrats time and again. And specifically, he blamed them for not wanting to help DACA recipients. Let's play a bit of that sound.
Sure.
DACA recipients have been treated extremely badly by the Democrats. We wanted to include DACA. We wanted to have them in this bill. 800,000 people. And actually, it could even be more. And we wanted to include DACA in this bill. The Democrats would not do it.
The president, of course, set this kind of deadline of his own making for this month, and now it comes and it goes, and immigration reform seems at a screeching halt. Where does the deal stand at this point?
Well, the president was accurate in saying the Republicans would have liked to have a DACA resolution in the bill, but it would have come at a very high price. Much more for the border wall, far more than the $1.6 billion as a preliminary down payment that's in this piece of legislation. The president had asked for between $18 billion and $25 billion. Democrats were never going to go for that much money for the border wall. The president also wanted other significant changes to legal immigration, which he knew Democrats were never going to support in the context of resolving the DACA question. So when the president says he wanted DACA, that's true. What he leaves out is the price with which Democrats would have had to agree to achieve a resolution of the DACA question. That was never a practical reality, so the president is being at least partially truthful on the desire, but he's leaving out a conspicuous amount on the underlying politics, which this administration and congressional Democrats and even some Republicans have never found common cause on. because the courts have intervened and essentially left the DACA situation status quo, meaning that which President Obama put in place by executive action is still the means by which immigration policy is conducted. Until the courts render a more permanent judgment on this, Congress is probably going to let this situation stay as it is. And the political momentum behind finding a resolution has pretty much died down. And because it's a midterm election year, neither Republicans nor Democrats appear to be particularly motivated to resolve this issue. And the president was trying to at least take away some of the Democrats' momentum on this by saying they didn't work hard enough on this.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that most Democrats and those in the immigrant community who are aligned with them are going to view that message either with skepticism or outright hostility.
This giant bill was opposed by many in conservative media. It was opposed by the Freedom Caucus. They wanted a veto. At the end of the day, they don't get their veto. What does this tell us about where the president is?
Well, it tells us that the president is willing to negotiate a way to spend on defense and spend on domestic non-defense, and in very large numbers. This is a repudiation on the non-defense discretionary side of his entire budget submitted to Congress last year. All the things he wanted to slash are either kept as they were or significantly increased, and the president's bought off on that. I mean, he can complain as much as he wants, but once you affix your signature to it as President of the United States, the spending continues. And that's what this president has done. He has achieved things for the border and national defense, absolutely, and they reflect many of his campaign promises. But the rest of this budget equation is a repudiation of everything he promised during the campaign and everything he said he would fight for, rather, as President of the United States.
Okay, Major Garrett at the White House. Thanks so much, Major.
You got it.